welcome back to another video with Pratham Test Prep. This is your host Sanjeev Bhatia again with a new video on your legal maxims and legal terms for your CLAT and AILET in 2022. If anyone is planning to go for these exams in 2023 also, these terms and legal maxims make perfect sense for you to know. Okay, so if you are new to the channel, please make sure that you hit on the like, share and subscribe button, and also don't forget to hit on the bell icon. Okay, so the first thing is that if you are also not a part of our Telegram channel, do make sure that you are subscribing to our Telegram channel also under the name of CLAT@Pratham. Now, the first term for the day, right? It's called a fortiori. That means from the stronger, loosely, even more so, or with even stronger reason. Okay, so what is this term exactly used for? It is often used to lead from a less certain proposition to a more evident corollary. That means कि भाई जहां पे कम आपको एविडेंस दिख रहा था, प्रोपोजिशन जो वीक था, वहां से बहुत एविडेंट उसकी जो प्रोपोजिशन पे आने के जो पूरा प्रोसेस है, उसको ये कहते हैं ए फॉर्टियोरी. दैट दीज आर ऑल लैटिन टर्म्स, सो you can get an example of these terms, but learning it from by heart is the only way to go ahead. तो आपको थोड़ा सा रटना भी पड़ सकता है यहाँ पे, so do make sure that you are taking care of that also. Now the next is a posse ad esse. That means from being able to being, from possibility to actuality, from being possible to being actual. ठीक है, तो किसी चीज के होने से पहले तक उसके होने तक, that is what is called a posse ad esse, right? The next is a posteriori. That means from the latter, right, based on the observation, that is the reserve of a prior. That means used in mathematical and logical to denote something that is known after a proof that has been carried out. In philosophy, it is used to denote something that can be known from the empirical experience. Okay, so that's what it means. Now antemortem, that means before death. So postmortem means after death, so antemortem matlab before death. ठीक है. Now apparatus Civitas, that means critical apparatus that can be textual notes, a list of other related readings to a document, especially in a scholar edition of a text. Okay. Next is bona official. That means good service. A nation's offer to mediate a dispute between two other nations. That is called a bona official. That means that I'll be doing a good service, free service for both the nations. Anything that is being done as a good service, right? It's called bona official. Now coming to the next term is that carpe diem. That means seize the day. That is, a lot of places you might have read this Latin term and it is being used on a lot of quotes around, so you might have read that term also. Now next is caveat lector. That is, let the reader beware, right? So caveat emptor, caveat venditor, caveat lector, caveat utilitor, मतलब अवेयरनेस के बारे में, बिवेयर रहने के बारे में कह रहा है, ये जो लैटिन मैक्सिम बेसिकली होती है. सो केवियट लेक्टर मींस व्हेन लेट द रीडर बी बिवेयर व्हेन द writer does not vouch for the accuracy of a text, probably a recent alteration of caveat emptor. Okay, so that is what, so they are not sure about the accuracy of the text, so the reader has to be aware about it. Now caveat utilitor, let the user beware, right? The user is responsible for checking goods suits his needs or not, right? So caveat utilitor. Now coming to the next Latin maxim, that is de lege lata. That means from law passed or by the law in force. Okay, so any law that has been passed or any law that is in force is called de lege lata. Now the next is de omnibus deputandum. That means be suspicious of everything, doubt everything. That's what the Karl Marx has said. He also explained this by his standpoint, critique everything in a capitalist economy, right? So that's what he said. Now erratum, that means error or mistake, right? So there is a list of errors in a previous edition of work or a book or anything that you are reading that has a lot of editing going on in those books and magazines, so they can give it under the term of erratum, or the plural for this word is called errata. So that's what is for errors. Now, the next term is ex hypothesis. That means from the hypothesis, right? Thus by the hypothesis. Hypothesis मतलब कि आप क्या assume कर रहे हो किसी research को करने से पहले, उसको एक hypothesis कहते हैं. Now, ex lege is from the law. If it is coming from the law, it's called ex lege. Now, ex libris is from the books, right? Precedes a person's name with the meaning from the library of, right? So that's how they use it, is from the books, is called the ex libris. Now next is ex post, from after or afterwards, after the event, right? So that's what the term is used for. Ex post facto, that is the term that most of you would have heard. So from a thing done afterwards, said of a law with retroactive effect. ठीक है, कि पहले भी इम्पैक्ट हो सकता है लॉ का. सो दैट्स कॉल्ड एक्स पोस्ट फैक्टो, राइट? फ्रॉम अ थिंग डन आफ्टरवर्ड्स. एक्स पोस्ट फैक्टो लॉ मतलब यहां से, आज के बाद से, राइट? नाउ कमिंग टू द नेक्स्ट टर्म, दैट इज ग्रेविटिया वर्टिस नेचुरे. दैट मींस थ्रू गॉड्स मर्सी एंड नेचर, राइट? ट्रूथ थ्रू गॉड्स मर्सी एंड नेचर. पहले अगर आपको पता हो, एंशिएंट टाइम्स में ये भी ऐसे तरीके के पनिशमेंट होते थे कि आप कोयले के ऊपर चलो, अगर आप जिंदा रहे, अगर आपको कुछ नहीं हुआ, इफ यू रिकवर फुल्ली, दैट मींस दैट गॉड हैज मर्सी ऑन यू एंड ही इज गिविंग अप ऑन योर ऑफेंसेस and you are left that way. But agar nahi hua recover, so you could have died when there was no medical attention available. So that's how their things used to work in the ancient time. Now hic et nunc, that means here and now. Idem means in the same place, usually used in bibliographic citations to refer the last source previously referenced, right? So that's called idem. Now idem is the same. Next is idem quod, that means the same as, not to be confused with an intelligent quotient, right? That is called IQ, right? In actu means in act. Next is in loco parentis, that means in the place of a parent. Now it is usually used for the legal term of custody, right? Assumption, parental responsibility, authority. Primary and secondary teachers are also said to be loco parentis when they are the children are at school. So that's the meaning of in loco parentis. Now ab initio, like void ab initio, हमने ये term सुना होता है contracts के अंदर. Ab initio मतलब from the beginning or from the first act itself, right? Void ab initio, जैसे कि किसी minor के साथ contract करना is called void ab initio, right? So actus curare nemin gravibit is an act of the court shall prejudice no man, right? So the court कोई decision ले रहा है तो वो किसी भी इंसान के ऊपर कोई prejudice नहीं करेगा. That's what the court will make sure. Now coming to the next part, that is that actio personalis Monterio cum persona, that means a personal right of action dies with the person, right? So that's what they have said in this case. Now coming to the next term, that is audi altrum partem. ये आप बहुत बार सुनोगे. Listen to the other side, right? So that's called audi altrum partem. Let the other side be heard as well, right? So these are basic legal terms that you should always know. Concessus ad idem, that means when two parties to an agreement have the both same understanding of the terms of agreement, such mutual comprehension is essential for a valid contract. So जब parties valid contract करती हैं तो उन्हें same terms and conditions समझ में आनी चाहिए. contract की जो चीज क्वेश्चन में है, क्या उसी के बारे में कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा. सो द पार्टीज हैज टू मेक श्योर अबाउट दैट आल्सो. नाउ कमिंग टू नेक्स्ट इज ignorantia juris, that is ignorance of law, or the next term that it comes from this is ignorantia juris non excusat, that means ignorance of law cannot be excused, right? So that's what the court has also said. The next is per curiam, that means in the opinion of the court, right? Next is abscond, that is escape from the custody or to avoid arrest. That is called a person who has absconded. Now coming to the next term, that is called adverse possession. Now what is the doctrine of adverse possession? It is defined under Article 65 of the Limitation Act, right, which specified that the time period of 12 hours up to which a claim of title over the immovable property is applicable. अगर 12 साल तक कोई इंसान किसी को ऐसे ही रहने देता है जैसे वो उसकी प्रॉपर्टी है, कोई पोजेशन का ट्राई नहीं करता, कुछ क्लेम नहीं करता ओनरशिप का, तो 12 साल के बाद एडवर्स पोजेशन का रूल एप्लीकेबल हो सकता है. Now by the count of 12 years starts when the possession of the defendant becomes adverse to the plaintiff. Now A, who is the owner of the land, gives his property for maintenance to B, and after 12 years if he comes back to reclaim the property, the court will not entertain his suit in his favor. क्योंकि अगर आपने 12 साल पहले मेंटेन करने के लिए दे दिया और आप भूल गए, आप देके चले गए, एडवर्स पोजेशन की देख लेना जैसा होगा, right? So after 12 years if the person is living there and there is no claim that is coming on him, so then the person can be said that he is in the adverse possession and the court will not entertain the suit of the person. ठीक है जी. Now coming to caveat emptor and caveat venditor, that's what we were discussing. Let the buyer be aware is caveat emptor. Let the seller be aware is called caveat venditor. Coming to the next term, that is called cognizance. That means judicial notice of an offense. ठीक है, जब अगर कोई भी किसी ने क्राइम किया है उसको मैजिस्ट्रेट के सामने प्रेजेंट किया जाता है तो मैजिस्ट्रेट उस चीज का कॉग्निजेंस लेता है, मतलब उसके जुडिशियल नोट्स बनाता है, right? It is being used in the court to indicate the points when the magistrate or a judge for the first time takes judicial notes of an offense. It's called cognizance. Now coming to the next term, that is called exchequer. That means that it is a royal or national treasury, or it is defined as the account in which the tax fund and other public funds are deposited. Next is fiduciary relationship, the relationship that you share with your doctor, lawyer, the relationship of trust, the relationship that is based on trust is called fiduciary relationship. Now coming to the next term is forbearance, that is an intentional delay in collection of a debt or demanding performance on a contract, that is called forbearance. Okay. Now coming to the next is defraud, that is to use deceit, falsehood or trickery to obtain money and object, rights or anything of value belonging to another. Now chattel, that means an item of personal property which is movable as distinguished from real property. Coming to the next part, that is quid pro quo, that means something for something. So that's a basic term. Guarantor, a person who takes the entity agrees to be responsible अगर उसका debt fail हो जाता है, अगर वो बंदा debt नहीं दे पाता तो guarantor को pay off करना होता है. आपने loan के अंदर ये term सुना होगा, guarantor is a person who is responsible to pay off the loan if you are not able to pay it off. Incidental beneficiary is someone who obtains a benefit as the result of main purpose of trust. Now coming to next term, that is temporary injunction, a court prohibiting an action to be a party to a lawsuit until there has been a trial or another court action. Now next is senator, that means for having knowledge, right? अगर आपको knowledge थी किसी act को करने से पहले, so it's called senator. Now easement is the right to use the real property of another for a specific purpose, that is called easement rights. So these are the legal terms and maxims for the day. I hope you were able to learn some new terms and maxims. We made it very, very quick because I don't want to waste your time at all when you're preparing for your board examinations. And if you're preparing for any other exam, I also want to take a minimalistic time of yours. So do take care of yourself and make sure that you hit on the like, share and subscribe button. And also don't forget to subscribe to our Telegram channel. Thank you for joining this video. Have a nice day. Take care of yourself. Don't forget to wear your mask and using your hand sanitizers, and also maintain social distancing. Have a nice day ahead and take care of yourself.